It's a very interesting week as we accept the challenges by the events surrounding Hurricane Millicent. And surviving is now even more important, critical in terms of what we have had to achieve. Now, I want to talk about a very special situation now. The whole process of what we do after. Because, I've always said that the issues to do with things that some people call natural disaster. I call it natural phenomenon. And the reality is the events that we do before, during, and after. Those are the ones that create the disaster. Now, we're now in the after. There's so many other things that we could have and should have done, but that's not the issue now. The question is now, how do we rebuild hearts and homes after the storm? How do we go about doing that? I'm Dr. Leahcim Semaj, and I'm a psychologist, an author, a quantum transformation coach. This is the MindSpa, where mind, spirit, and science meets. So we're going to look at this whole process now, psychological process of grief and loss after the storm. The rains and winds have ceased, but pain continues, that we understand. Storms come and go in hours. Sometimes you thought it wouldn't end. But after the storm, we begin to count our losses. And we have been doing that for a while now. The loss of a family member, a soul suddenly gone, leaving an empty chair and a silent room. Loss of close friends, a voice that can no longer call. Laughter now echoes only in memory. For some, the loss of an entire house, a lifetime of belongings, comfort, photographs, dreams washed away, sometimes blown away. Loss of your roof. I experienced that in Gilbert, so I know that feeling. It's an eerie feeling. The comfort and the safety you associate with a house, just gone. A reminder of vulnerability each night you try to sleep. The loss of a source of livelihood. Some people had their whole business, the place that they worked at, no longer exist. Disappeared overnight. Uncertainty, where you were fairly secure in terms of how you earn the livelihood. The loss of electricity, the loss of water. These are the basics for many people, stripped away. What's in place? Discomfort and fear. Loss of communication. Phones don't work. WhatsApp don't go through. You're wondering. Disconnected from loved ones and from vital information. The less visible aspect, your routine, your neighborhood, your sense of safety, the illusion of control. Losses do not compete, they accumulate. So the more that you experience, yet ranking the loss can help you to clarify where we must place our emotional and practical energy. The top of the list, number one, human lives. The numbers are still coming in. And just imagine for every life, the individuals connected to that person and what they must now be feeling. Health and safety. We see appeal for doctors because a number of hospitals were significantly impacted. Shelter. On the various flyovers and drone shots, you see entire communities just devastated. We mentioned livelihood. Now, business places were also included in the devastation. Then the community and the communication further down. And at the bottom of the list now is the comfort and the conveniences. We will get by those, but the ones at the top. Now, grief, as we say, compounds. Storm grief is unique. It carries layers to it. So as you're experiencing this, let me help you understand the processes and how it works, and then especially if you have someone that you are responsible for and how you can help them. The number one is shock. It starts with shock. It happened, but guess what? You survive. The mind takes a while to struggle to absorb the reality. So sometimes it takes a while, sometimes it comes immediately, sometimes, but you can't dictate the pace. Then there's disorientation. Normal life pauses. The air feels different. This is a whole different time and space. Disbelief, numbness. Can this truly be happening? These are things that we read about. These are things that we see on television. Then the anger and the frustration. Why us? Why now? I see a number of conspiracy theories circulating. They get more exotic, as I'm going to say by the day, I want to say by the hour. Then now the sadness and the deep fatigue. It's been a long time. The hours are now becoming days. The emotional body seeks rest. Then we add this thing called survivor's guilt. Why am I still here? Why others lost so much? Why did I survive? Especially when you compare yourself to other members of your own community. These reactions are not weaknesses, folks. They are evidence that you loved, that you cared, and that you hoped. Now, what are the psychological anchors in the midst of loss? Let's count them out and walk through them. One is honor the pain. Don't rush to be strong. Strength includes the courage to cry. Allow yourself that. Allow yourself. Second, name your feelings. I've always said that many of us are emotionally, almost unintelligent. Emotionally, that a point that we don't know the words. We can't explain. Grief unnamed becomes grief buried. And buried grief grows roots and gets stronger. So that if you can name it, if you can say what you're feeling, if you can describe it, say it aloud and write it down. What are you feeling? I am grieving my security. Yes, call it out. I am grieving my peace. I am grieving someone I love. I am grieving the loss of a home that I did everything to create. I am grieving my sense of safety. I am grieving my sense of tomorrow. Number 3, don't try to do this alone. Connect with others. Isolation breeds despair. Connection breeds healing. Call. Sit together. If all you do is just listen. We heal in human community. We are social beings. Number 4, practice small acts of rebuilding. However small, we may not be able to build the whole house today, but you can clear one room. Can you fix one window? Can you restore one corner? I was fortunate. All I lost a couple of banana trees. The biggest is one of my major trees in front of my gateway. And a pimento, important lumber, important for many purposes. But you know what I did? The day after, I got a man with a power saw and he cut it up. And interesting, as I was cutting it up, neighbors were passing and asked, can I get a piece of this lumber? Can I get a piece of this to do that? And I gladly shared it. But the bulk of it, I brought it in and I've put it in a corner, that I will now use this lumber over the coming months and years, put it to work. Yesterday, I had a team come and we restored my premises. Feeling was so positive as we restored, as we rebuild all that was dislocated. So whatever you can do, however small, you start. Number 5, you need to rebuild spirituality. Now, that's the harder one. Psalms crack open hearts. This moment invites deeper faith, deeper reflection, deeper humility. You ask questions, and rightfully so. Why did this happen? Why me? Why? But also, important question for you to ask, how can I grow from this? How can I move? Now, what's the way forward? Healing, folks, is not linear. Some days will feel hopeless. Some days will feel heavy. That is normal. You're going to have some good days. You're going to have some bad days. You're going to have some very bad days. But then you're going to have some great days. That's part of the process. Move at the pace of your breath. One breath at a time, one decision at a time, one conversation at a time, one prayer at a time, one sunrise at a time. Many mornings I take a picture of the sun rising in my backyard as my welcome to the day. But remember, the best is yet to come. Storms uproot. Storm reveal what matters to us. It makes it clearer what your life is about. Storm reset priorities. You now are forced to stop, feel, think, and reassess. Storm forces us to see life again, not as guaranteed. So here's a chance for you to reorient, reorder as you reflect. We now understand what is precious and what is temporary. This is the time for you to do that. Now, if you're listening to this, it means that you're still here. You still have breath. You still have purpose. And we know that as long as there's breath, there is hope. So stand firm. Lean on others. Cry if you must. But then rise up, because the best is yet to come. So piece by piece, step by step, we will rebuild. And it is not just to rebuild that which was there before, but to build back better, leaning on the lessons that we learned from this experience.